Hi, my name is Sai. This is my CE300 reflection. I'll be reflecting on a topic of engineering topics. This is my overview. I've broken the section into two parts, effective lesson learned and improvement for future classes. First, I'll briefly discuss the fundamental canyons. Then I'll talk about my take on a city court case, and then move on to the topics of moral hazard and moral luck. For the second part, I'll talk about room for improvement such as hierarchy of canyons, group discussion of case studies, and lastly, I'll talk about possible sequence of study as far as ethics goes in this class. Effective lesson learned. So here are the fundamental canyons again. These are the ethical standards for every professional engineers that are presented by National Society of Professional Engineers. The case study that we cover in class is the city court power case. Overall, the class consensus is that Lemonsieur, the lead structural engineer, failed to avoid deceptive acts. However, a majority of students disagreed or argued over if failing to make a public statement is a good idea or not, because it would induce mass panic and could possibly induce more public safety issues. My opinion is that he did he did fail to avoid deceptive act, so therefore making him unethical for this case. As far as ethics cases like this, I think it should be rated from 1 to 10. 1 being he did everything right, and 10 being him going to jail, possibly. This, of course, brings me to moral luck. The question about moral luck is that it is our moral responsibility is changed by the factors that are beyond our control, which ultimately leads to the age-old debate about free will and determinism. Of course, Lemonsieur could have been blamed for a big disaster if something were to happen, such as a storm, but nothing happened, so most people regarded his action as ethical. Along the same line is moral hazard, which is typically defined as that people will take undue risks if others were to bear the consequences. This whatever it takes mindsets can lead to unethical behaviors. Example of it can be found in such as financial crisis of 2008, Wells Fargo incidents, and Volkswagens. In this section, I'll talk about some improvement that can be implemented for the future classes to deepen the knowledge of ethics. Hierarchy of actions. One of the biggest things I took during the first midterm on the ethical question is that there are a lot of options that I could have chosen. Sometimes it is unclear on what type of actions should be taken or how to report to a proper authority as a junior engineer. So for the future, I think it will be beneficial for a student to handle if instructor were to taught student how to handle this situation or escalate it to appropriate level. Next thing I want to talk about is the case study about the group discussion and research. I think that more time, at least by one more day, is needed for a group case study. Also, having a team-based debate on a case for experienced parts, of course, will be a fun activity for the whole class. And lastly, I think that having an assignment where a student can go research and come up with a questionable ethical case that no one have heard of and share it with the whole class or instruction team would be a good idea also. Finally, I propose a possible sequence of study that will make study of ethics flow a little bit better. I suggest to show This is Water video early on in the course, then moving on to the topics of ethics and, of course, leadership theory. I think This is Water video introduces the topic of empathy, which leads to morality and setting a morality standard as a group. Then we can move on to a leadership theory such as leadership responsibility to assign meanings to group to achieve objective. That way, everything flows a little bit sequential. Again, this is just my preference, only if schedule permits. Well, that's it. This is my reflection on CE300. For any questions or comments, contact me via Twitter. My handle is included in the slide above. Thank you.